Hello and thank you so much for being here in this step-by-step tutorial. We are going to be making this cute little melted chicken, so let's start. For this class, we're going to be making the cut first and using cold porcelain. I start rolling it little by little until I have a uniform circle. Now I'm going to be using this acrylic bottle to add texture to this ball. First, I'm going to be pressing little by little from the top to the bottom to make a triangle shape. Make sure not to add too much pressure. Try to do it slowly with patience. We want this cup looks very smooth, so we're going to be trying to add some like little tops here from the bottom to the top to make that like a chubby triangle and all the parts can look smooth. Once you finish to add texture and it looks like this, we are going to be adding now a little bit of pressure to the top of this cup with a little bottle. You can use whatever straight part that you have, but in this case I'm going to be using this bottle to make this little straight line on the top of this cup. The following part that I'm going to be showing you is optional. If you don't like this like a rounder circle on the cup, you can also add a little bit of pressure, do it little by little, and you will have something straight that you are seeing in this moment. Let's move to the chicken, and for that I'm going to be measure or like verifying if this side is okay for the chicken. Now I'm going to be repeating the same process using the bottle, adding pressure but just a little bit to have like a more chubby triangle, and adding pressure on the top to make sure to the top be rounded instead of triangle. Now I'm going to confirm if this side is okay with the cup, and in case that is not, we're going to be adding more texture, but this one is okay. Because we're using cold porcelain, I'm going to let these parts apart in order that they can dry, and I'm going to continue with the bow. In most of my projects, I love to start making a bow and then add texture. For this bow, we are going to be making a rectangle first by pressing with my fingers and then press in the middle until I have this shape. Okay, now it's time to press in both corners, in the right and in the left. And we're going to be doing this process until we have a shape like a diamond. And when we have it, we're going to cut in the middle, little by little with a knife. And then we're going to have our bow sizes. I'm going to be cutting little by little because I want the cut be as straight as possible. I'm not with any rounded part. So I want to keep the shape, so that's why I'm doing like this. And now you can see the result. Let me show you. I like to add texture to the bow, so I'm going to be pressing a little bit in some parts. I'm going to make just two lines, and this is how it looks. To make the middle of the bow, I did a ball and then press in different parts of this circle to make a rounded square. Now let's place everything together. This bow accidentally fell down because it was not secure, so to avoid this situation you can add like a wire in the middle of the bow and then glue it with white glue or an scholar glue, and it will be secure. I want this bow has the shape of the face of the chicken, so I'm going to place it on it carefully, and then I'm going to be pressing just to mark the shape, and then I'm going to be let it dry for 1 day. Second day, and some of the part has been dried a little bit, so I roll the clay to make the handle for the cut, and I'm going to be making a diagonal cut. I'm going to be blending the clay to have this shape of the handle, and then I'm going to cut the excess in order that this little handle fits in the size of our cup. In case that is difficult to you to make the handle, you can also use a brush or any circular shape that you have in order to have the handle perfect as possible. If you would like to turn this figure into a kitchen or let it as a figure, I would recommend you to add extra support. In this case, add a wire in the middle. It could be a straight or with a different shape in order to avoid that the face of the chicken falls down, and it can be more secure when you add glue as well to these pieces. Let's move on to the next part. We're going to be making the rounder part for this ice cream. I was like measuring if the size was okay. In this part, you can add water or also glue to all this part, and then add the line that was made and cut the edges. We want this ice cream looks like everything is connected. There is any separate line from the top to this bottom part. So let's make some a little pressure to this top part in order that it can see everything is smooth. I'm going to be using this storing tool. You can use a needle, and just to make the final details, I'm going to be using a brush with a little bit of water. Remember that the top part it is already dry, so it's more easily for us to add the texture. After everything is smooth, let's add a little bit of pressure, presses down with your finger, or it could be with a dotting tool. The idea here is to make the melted part of the chicken. It not necessarily need to look exactly as the drawing. We can also let it like it looks right now, but I'm going to be adding some little details and show you how you can make it, but this part took a lot of time. So for this, I'm going to be using the brush to add some details that you're seeing right now, and I'm going to be cutting also with a knife some parts to round it that melted areas. After the melted part is done, let's make the arms of the chicken. To do that, make a bowl and then roll it until you have a rectangular piece. With the knife, do a diagonal cut in order to have symmetric parts. After they are cut, roll them 2 or 3 times on your fingers in order to have them smooth, and then we can apply them on our chicken. I'm going to be adding water to the top of this face and then going to add one of the arms. I want them to be as smooth as all the parcels right now, so I'm going to be using my fingers, or you can use a needle as well. I have different ways to make the eyes. Sometimes I draw it with a pencil. Sometimes I use glitter of different sizes, and then I paint the color on the glitter once I add it to the face. Or I proceed to paint the eyes with the dotting tool, because when we press, we have the circle and it's easier. This figure is almost done, and if you would like to turn this cutie into a kitchen, I would recommend you to use an ice screw to it.
Also, thank you so much for watching this video until the end. It means so much to me. And if you made the figure, please send me pictures. I will be more than happy to see how this figure turns out. Thank you so much for being here again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you for joining me today, and take care.